Here's one of the major things that we'll be talking about, and it's our right to self-determine a Scotland within the United Kingdom. What do I mean by that? The Scottish National Party made a submission to the Supreme Court on this particular matter, and thanks to the National, which I read so that you don't have to, they were able to tell me what was in the Scottish Nationalist submission, and crucial to it is the right to self-determination. It says, quote, regardless of the outcome of any subsequent general election to the UK Parliament, the people of Scotland's right to self-determination cannot be advanced through that legislature, meaning that regardless of whatever people vote for in Scotland at a British general election, the people of Scotland's right to self-determination cannot be advanced through that legislature. What a load of utter rubbish. Wrong in so many ways. Wrong in so many ways. Wrong on so many levels. And let me tell you 4 levels on which that is utterly wrong. Firstly, what does the phrase self-determination mean? Well, according to Chambers' 20th century, it is, quote, the power of a population to decide its own government and political relations. So in other words, self-determination in a modern democracy simply means using your vote to vote for whatever politician or party that you want to vote for at whatever election you want to vote for, whether that may be a devolved election, whether it may be a referendum, whether it may be the British election. So that's exactly what we have today. Each one of us has our own self-determination, which is exercised politically through our vote at the ballot box at whatever referendum or election we happen to bother ourselves to vote in. We have self-determination, and that means as a nation, at least as far as the people who bother to vote are concerned, that nation also has self-determination in a democracy. Self-determination is not denied to anybody in a democracy. So it's through all elections to Parliament that the people of Scotland exercise their right to self-determination. So to tell us that our right to self-determination cannot be advanced, to use the words of the SNP's submission to the Supreme Court, to tell us that while we are actually engaged in the exercise of self-determination by voting representatives to go to that Parliament, to tell us that our right to self-determination cannot be advanced through that mechanism that we are engaging in is complete. It doesn't even make sense. It's absurd. We're literally engaged in the act of self-determination when we vote at a parliamentary election. But here's the thing, what of course they mean is they don't actually mean self-determination. They don't actually mean the people of Scotland's right to self-determination. They mean, in their view, the people of Scotland's right to independence. That's what they mean. They're swapping out the phrase. They're swapping the phrase self-determination for independence. That's what they really mean when they talk about the people of Scotland's right to self-determination. They mean the people of Scotland's right to independence, okay? And also when they use that phrase, the people of Scotland's right to self-determination, they're not including us in that definition of the people of Scotland, okay? They're not including us, the people of Scotland, who exercise our self-determination and our right of self-determination to stay in the UK. They're not including us when they talk about the people of Scotland's right to self-determination. We're not meant to be included in that phrase. The SNP is not referring to those of us in Scotland who want the British Parliament to maintain our right to continue to self-determine in a Scotland within the UK. They're not referring to those of us in Scotland who want the British Parliament to protect our right to continue to self-determine in a Scotland within the UK. They're not talking about those of us in Scotland who want the British Parliament to promote our right to continue to self-determine in a Scotland which remains part of the UK. They're not talking about the people of Scotland who have a right to self-determination within the UK. We're not included in their definition because, as I say, they use the phrase self-determination to really mean independence. And fourthly, it's dangerous to pretend that we don't have self-determination, because if you give the impression, the mistaken impression, that there's no democratic path to getting what you want, then that's not only wrong, but it's dangerous, because you're encouraging some people who don't know any better to think, well, there's no legal route to what I want, so I'm going to do something illegal. And we've cautioned about the rhetoric of SNP MPs before on this particular matter. They don't realise that they're playing with fire when they pretend that there's no legal route, because they're just encouraging some people to do illegal things.